Howdy folks, AJ coming at you again, your resident vintage gamer, and it's Beer 30. Today, I am enjoying an Oktoberfest lager. That's why I'm wearing the Oktoberfest shirt. I thought that was appropriate. This is made by Full Sail Brewing Company. This is the Full Sail Ltd. Oktoberfest lager. And for those of you that have never had an Oktoberfest lager, it is obviously an amber ale, and it's usually a little stronger in alcohol content than a lager or even standard ales. This one's not too bad. This is 5.7%. So, but they have a deep flavor, and they're brewed once a year for the Oktoberfest season in Germany. Now this is obviously brewed here, but it's brewed as an Oktoberfest lager or Oktoberfest ale, Oktoberfest lager, excuse me. And having been over in Germany for 3 years, back in my army days, we used to always have what they call fests, which would be like like a fair here. And the giant Oktoberfest is in Munich every year. But I was in a city called Aschaffenburg, and we would have local Oktoberfest. You'd have they'd call it a Volksfest, and then they'd also have an Oktoberfest, and they would brew beer especially for that. And this is very much that same type. So I thought that would be fitting because right now Oktoberfest is going on over in Germany, and there's a lot of local Oktoberfest now that happen here in the States. We have one that goes on up at a ski resort called Snowbird right here locally, and it's actually quite a popular Oktoberfest. They have a lot of breweries that come there and everything that to sell their beer and everything, and of course they have an Oktoberfest lager as well. So today I thought we'd talk a little bit about beer, and the other thing I wanted to talk about was, as I'm sure a lot of you are doing, is watching the Game of Thrones. I just recently, last week, decided to start, and I bought the first 2 seasons, burned through those, and then I had to figure out how I was going to be able to get caught up on season 3, and lo and behold, if I subscribed to HBO, I was able to go on to HBO Go, I think it's called, and watch the streaming episodes of season 3. And I am up to, I think, episode 6 or 7 now of season 3. So I'm quickly getting caught up, and I have found that drinking a good, delicious ale or lager or whatever enhances the experience of watching the Game of Thrones, because they're always drinking in the damn thing. And they're always showing up in the north. It's always, of course, freezing cold, and everything looks, they're huddled around fires, and they're drinking ale and everything else, and it just feels appropriate to be drinking along with them. So that's what I do. So I don't know how many of you are watching the show. It's very popular, so I'm sure a lot of you are already caught up and have been following it from the beginning. But the reason that I brought it up was I do believe that there is an awful lot of fantasy gaming elements in the Game of Thrones. When I first started watching it, I thought, well, this is going to be kind of like a kingdom versus kingdom, warfare type drama series, which it is. But as I kept watching, what I was pleasantly surprised about was there's an awful lot of individual questline type stories that go along with the Night's Watch, guys of the Night's Watch going on a quest. And I'm not going to I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but there's a whole lot of little, for lack of a better term, side quests that seem to be going on. And you have elements like rangers, the class, what we would call a class, ranger class. You have what we would call a druid class. There seems to be a druid class. There seems to be, a magic user or a sorcerer class. Obviously, you've got your, fighters and paladins and so forth. But there's also, I've seen a thief, an assassin, or a rogue. Instead of thief, I mean, everybody calls it rogue now, but when D&D first started, it was thief. But everybody calls it a rogue now. But there's been a rogue character, there's been an assassin character, at least one assassin character. There's just all different types. And so I've been pleasantly surprised with, there's alchemists, there's just so many different elements that go into it that make it feel almost like a Dungeons and Dragons type adventure, So I don't know how many of you are enjoying it, but I sure am. And if anybody's got any comments about how they feel that the crossover is between fantasy gaming and role-playing gaming and everything, and the Game of Thrones, and any parallels, to Lord of the Rings or any other fantasy settings, I'd love to talk about it in the comments below, because I think it's kind of a it's kind of a fascinating topic. So anyway, that was just, I felt like shooting off a video because I'm throwing back some, getting ready to watch another episode. And if you have an Oktoberfest style beer in the local area that you're in, that you want to share with the rest of us, maybe it's one that we can, at least for me, that I can get maybe locally here. That'd be nice. If it's one I haven't tried, I'd be sure like to try it. So in any case, any of your comments are welcome again. And until the next time, we'll catch you guys on the flip side.